All right. So shalom, and welcome to another show of GMS Collage. First and foremost, giving all praises to Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai as always. Double honors to the elder apostles of GMS who rule well, who have taken the time and put in the work to show us how to use these tools to get the word out, and also salutations and blessings and prayers out to you other brothers that are out there teaching the word in sincerity and truth. All right, so today's topic is going to be based on basically going through hell. So we're going to entitle the show, Then It Shall Be Known Who Are My Chosen, because hell is something that we all go through, man, and it's not we're not exempt from it. The Lord Yahweh Shai himself, who was the first fruits of us, who was the beginning of this new man that we're becoming, had to go through hell himself. He's the second in command in all the universe, so we're not exempt from that hell. But what it's for is a purpose to it. It's not, you're not just going through hell just to, just because the Lord is just angry and he just want to put you through hell. No, the hell is for your benefit. It's a character builder. As I always say, you have pearls, and you have diamonds, and you have all these different rubies and stones that are made and become precious in the most extreme conditions, right? So like with a pearl, you put the sand inside of a clam that down at the bottom of the sea, and that clam is constantly trying to get that sand out of its mouth. You could take the smallest grain of sand, but that action that is being put through, that turmoil that is being put through, makes it become a pearl. So anything precious, anything that's worth being, anything that's worth having, has to be forged in fire. That's the old saying, that all things good are forged in fire, and it's true. So all this hell that we're going through is not for no reason. We're going through it because the Lord is refining us. He's purifying us. He's making us better. It says in Hebrews, I don't know exactly where it is, but I think it's it might be Hebrews the 5th chapter, but it says that our Lord Yahweh Shai was made perfect through suffering. So he wasn't born perfect, but he was made perfect through suffering. So the things that he went through is what made him perfect. And that's what we try to keep in mind when we're going through these different problems and things that we have in our lives, that we're only going through those things so that we can be made perfect, so that we can be made that final product.
Right. And the scripture said that it pleased Yahweh to see his son suffering on the cross like that. So again, the scriptures, the way the Lord thinks, roughly paraphrasing, the way the Lord's things are not like ours. You know what I'm saying? Ours, being in his flesh and his man, it pleases you to see me suffering. You would think, being a mortal man, in this wicked flesh, it pleased the Most High to see me suffering, but his ways are not like ours. So to see us suffering and see that diamond that's being refined in that coal, or that steel, how it's melted on high degrees, but was at the end of the day, when that fire is burning that metal, a sword is gonna come out of that thing, man. It's gonna be used for something. So, like the brother said, anything that's worthy of being used, it's gonna go through something, man.
All right, so I'm gonna hit two. I'm gonna get Isaiah 55 first. So this is Isaiah 55 and 8. It says, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways," saith the Lord.
Being a mortal man, it pleased him. Yahweh Shai suffered, man. He went through hell, man. He was spit on, man. They gave him vinegar to drink. They put that thorn. He had his hands beaten to that wood. He was whipped.
I got this right here. This is Isaiah 53 and 9. It says, "And he made his grave with the wicked and with the rich in his death, because he had done no violence, neither was any deceit in his mouth. Yet it pleased the Lord to bruise him. He hath put him to grief, and thou shalt make his soul an offering for sin. He shall see his seed, he shall prolong his days, and the pleasure of the Lord shall prosper in his hand."
Yeah, because there's a scripture that said that I was envious of the wicked, but then I seen a outcome. Basically, I seen a judgment. Then I was like, whoa. So you could have a problem with something in the beginning, right? But at the end of it, what the Lord, what Yahweh was saying is, how he's gonna come out is gonna be perfection. It's gonna be perfect. He's gonna know what it feels like to suffer, what it feels like to go through things, what it feels like for pain. How you gonna feel joy if you never was sorry? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
How you gonna receive the kingdom of heaven if you never went through hell? How you gonna know what you won't know what it is? You won't know what the good is if you've been given it to you. If you never suffered, you went experienced the bad, and it's gonna make you a better person. It's gonna make you a ruler. It's gonna make you a king. It's gonna make you a judge. It's gonna make you just. You know, you're gonna know what justice is because you've been on the both sides of each stick. So now you can weigh left from right, right from wrong, up from down. You know what it is. You know the difference of it. I'm gonna read this scripture real quick, bro. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 7. I'll start at the top verse. And when I made an end of speaking these words, there was sent unto me an angel, which has been sent unto me the night before.
Right, and let me say this real quick before you continue on. All the questions we have in the flesh, Ezra asked. Right. So you always have to remember, even though you're going through these things, go read 1st and 2nd Ezra, because Ezra asked all these questions that we have in the flesh, like why is this happening to us? When is it going to end? Ezra asked all these questions, and here's some of the answers that that the angel gave him by the way of the Lord.
Right, and you could go as far as to say Ezra asked too many questions.
Yeah.
The Lord had to shut him up, man. The Lord was like, look, man, don't ask me no more questions concerning the wicked. But like the brother said, man, the curiosity that you have in your mind, Ezra asked it. So just go back and read it, and like the scriptures say, these words are for our edification's sake. You know, it also says these words are not meant to scare us, but to encourage us to to keep pushing. It says, and when I made an end of speaking these words, there was sent unto me an angel which had been sent unto me the night before. And he said unto me, Up, Ezra, and hear the words that I come to tell thee. And I spake, and I said, Speak on, my power. Then said he unto me, The sea is set in a wide place, that it may be deep and great. But put the case of the entrance were narrow, like a river.
Right.
Who could then go into the sea to look upon it and to rule it if he had not come through the narrow?
Right, so you got to go through the narrow or the hard entrance in order to get or to attain the large and more abundant. So you have to go through these hard things. Also, it reads in I think Matthew's the 7th chapter where it talks about entering in at the straight gate. You have to go through these hardships and these bad times, so to speak, in order to attain the gifts that everybody always talks about. The gifts, right? We always talk about when the kingdom comes, or we're gonna have this many women, we're gonna have all these castles, we're gonna be able to fly, and we always talk about the gifts, but you never hear people talking about the suffering. You gotta earn it. You gotta those gifts have to be purchased. The Lord is not about giving you something without you earning it. So you gotta purchase those gifts with the hell that we go through.
Right. And real quick too, Esau even noticed to a certain extent, because I used to a while back I used to work at this job, was the Hyatt Motel, and it was this guy, man. This guy was getting paid like $100,000 a year. He was the general manager, but what he did was, he had to work every job for 2 weeks. So here is this guy that's got the office on top of the damn building, getting paid all this money, and he was doing houseman work, doing everybody's job on a low level, because in order to rule that whole building, he had to go through everything, man. He had to clean the rooms, he had to do the janitor's job, he had to do the houseman's job, he had to go into the kitchen to see how they operated. He had to do everything, man. So likewise, what the Lord is saying is, how you gonna receive a kingdom without going through every nook and cranny of the kingdom to understand what you about to inherit? You're the king of you're the king of this kingdom. You're the ruler of this kingdom. You got to see on every level, on every scale, every nook and cranny of this place, and then you could begin to start the stages of how to rule.
Which is why the kings of old should be more reverenced than kings and rulers of today, because kings and rulers you won't see Obama going over there to Iraq to fight no war.
Right.
But the kings of old, they did those lowly things. They fought in those wars and in the front lines.
Right.
So they weren't just made king just because they look nice or they speak well. They were made king because they were willing to fight for the people.
Right. And they was the baddest at doing it.
Right.
You think of King David, he wasn't just even with Esau's military they got something called they had something called the General's Guard and whatever. And basically the king will be in the safest spot, so to speak. So he'll be in the middle. He'll have his own personal bodyguard around. He'll have infantry, cavalry to his left, other cavalry to his right, spearmen, pikemen. The whole army will basically be centered on correcting him. But King David was front line with it. It was known that King David was bodying more people than anybody else. So his heart was in that thing. And likewise, when your heart is in it, your men are going to be behind you. Look at King David. This is the king of all Israel, and he's front line, putting his life on the line for the kingdom, and makes them fight even more. Let me finish reading this, bro. This is verse 2. I'll start at verse 2 again. And he said unto me, Ezra, hear the words that I am come to tell thee. And I asked, speak on, my power. Then he said unto me, the sea is set in a wide place, that I may be brought to the deep and great. But the entrance were narrow, and like a river. Who then could go into the sea to look upon it and to rule it if he had not gone through the narrow? How could he come into this broad? There is another thing. A city is builded and set upon the broad field. It is full of all good things. The entrance thereof is narrow and set in a dangerous place to fall, like as if there were fire on the right hand and on the left a deep water. And one only path between both, even between the fire and the water.
Right, and that's the journey into the kingdom. There's only one way you can go in, and that one way is a difficult path you have to take, man. And sometimes you reach these points where it feels like that path you're taking is like, God damn, it's like one thing after another. You get past one obstacle, and then after that obstacle right behind it, there's another one. You know, but that's the path you got to take. That's the journey that you have to take.
God. It says so small that it could, but one man go through it at once. I mean, that's
right. Only one man at a time, man. Because again, this touches on how there's levels to it too. You know, so you got the men that came before us. They had to go through certain things, and they taught us how to go through those things, and then we in turn teach the people that come behind us how to do it a certain way. You know, so along with going through that narrow gate, there's also levels to going through that gate.
If this city now were given unto a man for an inheritance, if he never shall pass the danger set before it, how shall he receive the inheritance? So it's like it's impossible. If somebody gave you a city, right? Look, bro, this is your city, right? This is you gonna rule this city. You gonna run this. But how you get to it is you're gonna have to go through some hell. You're gonna have to go through a jungle, man, with his lions in there running, and past swamps with his gators and stuff like that. What are you gonna do? You're gonna say, no, I'm not gonna go through that because I don't want to go through no danger. Hell no. You're gonna find any type of reason, any type of excuse, by any means necessary. You're gonna go through what you gotta go through to receive what you've inherited, or else you're already in that. You're already in that place where the lions are, where the gators are. You got to get out of it. See, we're already here in America. The dangers is already here. This is the dangerous city, man. The dangers, the only thing we have to look forward to is what? The kingdom of heaven. We got to go through the obstacle. The scriptures say we're going to be purified with that fire. You're either going to be purified by being sucked up out of here and being delivered from that nuclear fire, or your ass is going to be burnt up here, man. Because all Israel is going to be saved, but through the elect. So the other half of Israel they're going to be purified through that fire, man. That thermonuclear fire. You're going to have to go through it regardless. So the best thing to do is to read these scriptures to build yourself up so you can know it gives you strength. It gives you strength, man, when you're going through this hell, that there's a purpose for it. And the purpose is what? The kingdom of heaven, man. That city that we was given to us from the time of going back to Abraham, man. You got something?
I do, but I want you to finish that.
Okay. If this city now was given to a man for inheritance, if he never shall pass the danger set before it, how shall he receive this inheritance?
Right. So there's a purpose behind us going through this hell. We have to earn the way the scriptures say that the servant is not greater than his master. And if our master had to earn his seat on the right hand side of the Most High, then likewise, for us to be joint heirs with him, we have to receive that same danger, that same hell. You know.
Said that real fast. This is This is Romans chapter 8, verse 16.
Mhm.
The Spirit beareth witness with our spirit that we are the children of the Most High.
Right.
And if children, then heirs.
Right.
Heirs of the Most High.
Mhm.
And joint heirs with Yahweh Shai.
Right. So if we're going to be joint heirs with the Lord Yahweh Shai, then we have to deal with the same things that he dealt with. He was persecuted, right? He went through hell. Not only was he persecuted by the people, but he had health issues. There's a scripture that mentions how he was sweating beads of blood, and that if you go into that, if you Google that disorder, it'll tell you that comes with high levels of stress. So he had health issues. Any man who you say is a wine bibber, if he's drinking like that, you know he's going through some kind of hell, man.
Right.
If he's drinking that much, you know. So he didn't only have persecution of the people, he had health issues, and then the ultimate hell was he had to go through pain and he had to die to even receive that glory. So how much more us? How much more us do we have to? And you know, your car might break down. You might have some physical ailments. You got some brothers that you know got to be on an asthma pump day after day. You got some brothers who can't see. You got some brothers who have heart issues. It comes with the territory,
You
man.
got some brothers that's going through multiple things.
Right, all
you know,
of those things
asthma,
together,
heart
right?
conditions,
Right.
car breaking down.
Right.
Brothers is losing their job.
Yep.
Brothers working too many hours. Brothers not working enough hours.
Right.
Brothers behind on rent.
Right.
You having trouble in the flesh, you know,
Right.
with your woman.
And I used to say to myself, damn, you know, I always got some kind of money issues, and I'm not saying this to boast, but I always got some kind of issues where I'm behind on something. I gotta take this money from this thing to pay this thing, and then I gotta take this money from this thing to pay that thing over there. And I used to be like, damn, I'm irresponsible with my money. But I look at it and it's like I'm not. That's just what I've been put through. That's just the thing that I gotta deal with in this hell that we're in.
Right.
You know, it's not something that I've done to myself. It's not self-inflicted. It's just the lot that I'm in.
See, the thing is, the world will have you believe too that get control of your finances and stay ahead of the curveball. But
get a savings account.
Yeah, that's all smoke and mirrors because the way the elite set this thing up is for us to be in debt, and that's slavery.
Right.
That's what keeps us continue
Right.
to go on and on and on. You know, the debt is just piling up, man.
Mhm.
The more money you make, the more debt is attached to that money that you make. So.
Right. So is that it on that?
No.
Okay.
It says, and if the children, then heirs of the Most High,
Mhm.
then joint heirs with Yahweh Shai,
Mhm.
if so that we suffer with them.
If that's the key. If so, we suffer with him. So you have to go through these things, man. You have to go through these things, and this is why the scriptures say that these words are the comforter, man. You read these things and you say, damn, I'm not the only one that has been through this, and I can't be the only one that's going through it now. I can't be. If you want to give that testimony now, it would be a good time.
Oh yeah, it comes because I was talking to the brother Yaquab down in New Orleans. They from Baton Rouge, but they drive out to New Orleans and teach. And you know, it's the same conversation that you have with brothers. A brother call, hey Shalom, Mark, how you doing? And you know, one of the first things somebody say, you know, catching hell on here. And it was this wicked flesh, it was my flesh when I said I was catching hell. He said my brother is too, and I'm thinking like, you ain't catching hell like I'm catching hell. I'm like, yeah, you know, I just left the hospital, and my mom, she's out of it. You know what I'm saying? They had to put her to sleep, and she got breathing tubes. She's not breathing on her own. She got tubes on her. You know, and she looks dead, man. And you can see like the machines are basically breathing for her. Her chest is going up slow, and it is. And then I go home, and then when I tell him, like, yeah, you know, my mom's in the hospital, and he's like, yeah, you know, I just left the hospital yesterday. My mom's in the hospital too. I couldn't even speak to her. You know, they took a piece of cancer out of her lung, and I'm sitting there saying like, damn, man, you know, it's the spirit that you know, both our moms are going through that, but you ain't going through this thing alone, man. You're not going through this thing alone at all, bro. There's other brothers that's suffering likewise with you. You know, looking for a job, behind on the bills, and running around doing this and doing that, and this thing is hell, man. It's hell, but again, like the scripture said, if so that we suffer with them, that we, it's talking about multiple people. That's talking about other brothers that's suffering right along with you, man. Suffering right along with you in this place, man. And it's all, and then I could go into the reasons of why she's sick, but it's all gonna date back to what? Esau and his wicked devices, you know. Let me finish off on this, brother. It says, if so be that we suffer with them, that we also may be glorified together. For I reckon that the suffering of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us.
Right. So this suffering that we go through in this day is not going to compare to the things that we'll, Lord willing, when we get to the kingdom, man, we're going to say like, damn, we get all this. We didn't go through enough. We didn't go through enough on that side to have all of this thing. That's how abundant that kingdom is going to be, man. So this is small time, man. You should rejoice that the Lord saw fit to chasten you. You know, is there more on that?
No, let me get something else based off what you just said.
What you going, Hebrews?
No, I'm going Peters.
Okay.
You want to read what you got?
Yeah, I got this in Hebrews real quick. It's Hebrews 12:6. It says, "For whom the Lord loveth, he chasteneth, and scourgeth every son whom he receiveth. If ye endure chastening, the Most High dealeth with you as with sons. For what son is he whom the Father chasteneth not?" So when you're going through these things, you got to rejoice, man. You got to rejoice because the Lord saw fit for you to go through these things, man. I mean, in the world they teach you that going through hardships is not of God. It's Satan that's doing it to you, which is true. But the Lord is allowing that demon Satan to get on you to do these things so that you can come out on the other end a stronger man, a better refined man, you know. So it says, "But if he be without chastisement, whereof all are partakers." So let me read that again. It says, "But if ye be without chastisement, whereof all are partakers," meaning you're not the only one going through it. Everybody got to be chastised that's in this truth, man, who's taking part in this ministry. It says, "Then are ye bastards and not sons. Furthermore, we have had fathers of our flesh which corrected us, and we gave them reverence. Shall we not much rather be in subjection unto the Father of spirits and live?"
Yeah, because your pops will give you a spanking for embarrassing him.
Right. You be thinking the same thing.
He said he'll say it too, like, you know what I mean? And when you get an ass whooping, you ever embarrass me like that again? He ain't really doing it for, look, man, be a man and set yourself up. It's really so that you won't bring shame to the family. You know what I'm saying? So you won't bring that shame, but the Lord do it. He's doing it to mold you into a king, man. To mold you into a better person.
That's right. Verse 10, it says, "For they verily for a few days chastened us after their own pleasure.
Right.
But he for our profit, that we might be partakers of his holiness." Huh? Yep. Now, no chastening for the present seemeth to be joyous, but grievous.
Right.
Nevertheless.
Hey, real quick, though, because you read that a lot, man. In scripture where it says, basically rejoice at the suffering, and I'll be finding myself having a problem with that because I'll be like trying to, I'll be like, it don't make sense to me, man. You know what I'm saying? You be going through hell, man. I'll be like, rejoice at what?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But read that again.
Now, no chastening for the present seemeth to be joyous.
Right, like this shit is not, obviously it's not joyous. You know what I'm saying? But again, when he said I was envious of the wicked until I seen their judgment, you got to look further so you could be able to understand this thing. Right. You got, if you don't look further, you just catching hell.
Right. I read this. I read this book, and it said that you can't look at the tree. You got to take a step back away from the tree so that you can see the whole forest. And that resonated with me, man. Because a lot of times when we're going through something, we're just focused in on that tree instead of taking a step back and looking at that whole forest that's ahead of us, man. You know. So take a step back off that tree, get into these scriptures, and say, look, this is just a lot, man. You know, because it's really what it is this. You got to look at it like this. Satan was sent to Job for what? Because his thing was, look, Lord, the only reason why Job is reverencing you the way he is because you're giving him all these things. So let me get down there on him and work and put some work on him to try to break him loose, to try to get him to stop worshiping you. And what did Job say? Job said, though he slay me, I will still worship him, man. I will still follow him.
It is written, a friend cannot be known in prosperity. You know, you can't. You know,
that's perfect.
You got all the money in the world. You're a basketball player. Of course, you got friends. You know what I mean? Everybody want to be around you. The people show you love at the club. They they let you go right in at the door. You know, your cousins come, everybody's good with you, right? But when the time you go broke, that's when you really gonna see who's really there for you, man. In a time of trouble, you're gonna see who's really down for you, man. When you're down and out, who helps you out. But when you got something, so if the Heavenly Father gave Job abundance, he gave him money, he gave him land, blessed him with children, and blessed him with everything, the true test comes when those things are stripped from him, man. And Job is going through something. He's going through some physical pain, you know. His wife is talking shit.
Mental pain, and he endured it, man.
Yep.
He endured it. You know, even though it was hurting him, even though he was physically in pain, even though he was mentally in pain, he endured that thing, man. You know. So when I read this, it says, "Now no chastening for the present seemeth to be joyous, but grievous. Nevertheless, afterward it yieldeth the peaceable fruit of righteousness unto them which are exercised thereby."
That's that key word, afterward, man. Afterward, and patience. It comes, being in this truth, you gotta have patience, man, because it says afterwards, man. So there's something at the end. In the end, we talk about the end a lot. He that endureth until the end, the same shall be saved.
I have to read this, bro.
Go ahead, brother.
It says, "Wherefore lift up the hands which hang down." So you know you get all sad and you start drooping down, and it says, "And the feeble knees, and make straight paths for your feet, lest that which is lame be turned out of the way."
Right, because it's written, don't give me so much that I forget about you.
Right.
Roughly paraphrasing, don't give me so little that I you know. So when you're catching that hell, if you don't smile about it and see the end result, man, you're gonna find yourself cussing the Lord out, man, cursing him out, saying, "Man, what the hell," you know. Well, you gotta keep a balance. You gotta be balanced. Balance is that's another key attribute to this truth, man. Go ahead, bro.
It says, "But let it rather be here."
You want to speak on?
Oh no, that's you got it, bro. You got it.
Yeah, I got one.
Yo, go ahead.
First Peter's chapter 4, verse 12.
I'm getting paranoid about this thing.
4 verse 12.
Yep.
Beloved, think not as strange concerning the fiery trial which is to trial you, as though some strange thing is happening to you.
Yep.
But rejoice as so
Right.
much as ye are partakers in Yahweh Shai's
That's
suffering.
right. That's right. So it's not a strange thing, man. Don't think it to be a strange thing when you're going through these things.
And I gotta add,
You
that's
gotta-
something
you should, bro.
you gotta deal with, man, because in this flesh, you be thinking it's some strange shit, man. Every once in a while, you get down and out, but yeah, how this happen? You know what I'm saying? Why this happen? And you gotta check yourself. You gotta deal with the scripture. That's why the scriptures say, we say that a lot. The knowledge of wisdom will be the stability in our time. It ain't just talking about when all hell breaks loose.
Right.
This knowledge and wisdom is talking about right now.
Yeah.
When all hell breaks loose, you're gonna need it. But right now, to keep you stable in this thing, man. You gotta know that you're going through something, and then why you're going through something, and what's gonna happen to you for going through it. These are things you gotta know. That's knowledge and wisdom. It says, "Beloved, think not as strange concerning the fiery trial which is to try you, as though some strange thing is happening to you, but rejoice in as much as ye are partakers of Yahweh Shai's suffering, that when His glory shall be revealed, ye may be glad also with exceeding joy. If you be reproached for the name of Yahweh Shai, happy are ye.
Right.
For the spirit and glory of Yahweh rests upon you.
That's right.
On their part, evil is spoken of, but on your part, He is glorified.
That's right.
Let none of you suffer as a murderer, or as a busybody, or as a thief, or as evildoer."
Right. So in other words, if you're gonna suffer if in the name of Christ, then that's a good thing. But if you're gonna suffer for these evil things, go ahead, read on.
Yet if any man suffer as being anointed, let him not be ashamed,
Right.
but let him glorify the Most High on his behalf.
Right. So if you're being persecuted for being anointed, then that's a blessing, man. But if you're being persecuted for being a wicked demon, then that's when you should worry. Read that again, bro.
Right. Yet if any man suffer as anointed, let him not be ashamed, but let him glorify the Most High on his behalf.
That's right. Go ahead.
You want to read up?
No, I want you to read that whole thing that you read.
Okay. It says, "But let none of you suffer as a murderer,
Right.
or as a thief,
Right.
or as an evildoer,
Right.
or as a busybody in other men's matters.
Go ahead.
Yet if any of you suffer as an anointed,
Right.
let him not be ashamed, but let him glorify the Most High on his
That's
behalf."
right. That's right. So you only time you should be ashamed for being persecuted is if you was being a wicked demon. But if you live in your life in these scriptures and you teaching the truth and you go through this turmoil and this hell, then that's when you should rejoice, man. That's when you should rejoice. Let me read this because the wind blew to the scripture and I read it and I said, I'm gonna read this. So this is Colossians 3:1. It says, "If ye then be risen with the anointed or the Messiah, seek those things which are above, where